Australia. Not only one of the largest lands in the world, but also one of the richest grounds on the planet. From New South Wales to Victoria, Queensland, and Western Australia, the Kangaroo Nation stands out as one of the most fascinating places for mining. With giants like Rio Tinto, BHP, and Newmont, Australia hosts some of the most extreme mining operations on Earth. So let's take a look at a few of the most incredible pits you'll ever see. And let me tell you right now, the last one will probably surprise you. These are some of Australia's most spectacular mines. 2 kilometers across, 6 kilometers long. This is Mount Whaleback, the largest single-pit iron ore mine in the world. Owned by BHP, the gigantic operation first opened in 1968 as part of the Mount Newman project. Located in Western Australia's Pilbara region, the Mount Whaleback mine produces around 75 million tons of iron ore each year. It forms part of the Newman Hub, an absolute cornerstone of BHP's iron ore operations in the state. Supplying around 800 ships each year, Mount Whaleback's ore travels by rail to port before being shipped to steelmakers, mainly in Asia. A typical BHP iron ore train carries over 260 cars and stretches more than 2.5 kilometers long. Mount Whaleback will continue operations for the next 20 years to come, with possible extension way beyond that. After mining concludes, the plan is to backfill the entire pit with water up to the 18th bench, transforming the site into a lake already known as Lake Whaleback. Less than 300 kilometers west of Mount Whaleback is the Mount Tom Price mine, another major iron ore operation. Owned by Rio Tinto, Tom Price opened in 1966 and has since become one of Australia's most important iron ore hubs. Rio Tinto's first iron ore mine in the Pilbara region, Mount Tom Price, is huge, approximately 7.5 kilometers long and around 1.6 kilometers wide at its widest point, with depth of around 250 meters in some areas. With a production capacity of about 28 million tons per annum, Rio's operation is a major employer in the region, hiring up to 1,700 workers when business is booming. The high-grade hematite iron ore is shipped to customers in China, Japan, Korea, and Europe. Last year, Rio Tinto announced a $1 billion investment to sustain mining activities and for the construction of a new crusher and a 13-kilometer conveyor. The Useless Loop salt mine is located in Western Australia's Shark Bay region and produces some of the purest solar salt in the world. Operated by Shark Bay Salt, Useless Loop's also one of the most visually striking industrial operations on the planet. Started in 1967, the mine is run by salt workers that live with their families in the closed company town of Useless Loop. The operation exports around 1.5 million tons of salt annually, making it a key actor in the business. Operating in a World Heritage listed region, the amazing Useless Loop mining complex uses a technique called solar evaporation of seawater, a process consisting of removing water from seawater using the sun's heat, which leaves salt crystals behind. Running all year round with a small workforce of about 70 employees residing on site, Useless Loop is by far one of the most beautiful mining operations on Earth. So if you were offered a job there, would you even consider it? If you were about to drive from this mine to the next one, it would take you exactly 45 hours, basically going from one side of the country to the other, and from a beautiful landscape to another. The Loy Yang mine is one of Australia's most important brown coal operations, also known as lignite. Situated in Victoria's Latrobe Valley, it supplies fuel directly to the adjacent Loy Yang A and B power stations, two of the largest in the nation. With a brown coal production nearing 30 million tons per year, Loy Yang was officially opened in 1982 and is currently 200 meters deep. 100% of the coal mined at the massive Loy Yang operation is used domestically for power generation. Loy Yang, owned by AGL Energy, uses bucket wheel excavators and conveyor belt systems, just like Germany's gigantic Hambach mines. It's frequently at the center of debates around Victoria's energy transition and climate targets. The operation runs 24/7 with a workforce of around 600 employees and 300 contractors. AGL's Loy Yang A power station is set to close in 2035, aligning with the company's move toward a more sustainable energy portfolio. The Maules Creek mine is located in New South Wales, Australia. Opened in 2015 and mainly owned by coal mining giant Whitehaven, the massive operation produces what's known as some of the highest quality high-energy thermal coal in the country. With an annual production right around 12 million tons, Maules Creek sits on 400 million tons of recoverable coal reserves, including 130 million tons of probable reserves, enough to run for another 40 years at the very least. Though operated with conventional truck and shovel methods, Maules Creek became a proving ground for autonomous haulage in 2020. Yet by 2024, the trial was scrapped entirely, ironically leading to higher output once crews returned to traditional haulage. A flagship of Whitehaven's portfolio, the Maules Creek coal mine runs 24 hours a day, 7 days per week, and employs around 700 workers. Once extracted and processed, the product is shipped by rail to the port of Newcastle. From there, coal is exported worldwide to meet international demand. About 300 kilometers separate Maules Creek from Mount Owen, another legendary coal mine in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales. Now owned by Glencore, Mount Owen was one of the first mines to receive the almighty 996 in the mid-90s. Producing both thermal coal for power generation and semi-soft coking coal for use in steel production, Mount Owen sits on seams ranging from 25 centimeters to 10 meters in thickness. Employing just a little bit over 600 workers, Mount Owen produces an average of 5 million tons of coal per annum. The mining complex is set to run until 2031, with probable expansion potentially extending it to 2044. Officially opened since 1998, the Cadia mine is one of Australia's largest gold operations. Fully owned by Newmont Corporation, clearly having a great time mining gold right now, the mine is located about 20 kilometers south of the regional city of Orange, also in New South Wales. Often named Cadia Ridgeway, the mining complex is made of an open pit section, shut down since 2012, and currently used as a tailings storage facility, and 2 underground segments, Cadia East and Ridgeway. Top producer in the immense nation, Cadia generated about 597,000 ounces of gold in 2023. Great source of copper as well, the operation produced 98,000 metric tons of the base metal the same year. The Cadia gold mine has a substantial workforce of around 1,800 employees and contractors. As it stands today, the mining complex will be operating beyond 2031 and seeking approval to continue until 2050, and maybe longer. It doesn't get much bigger and better than this. Bulga, another major coal asset in Glencore's portfolio. Located 15 kilometers southwest of Singleton in the Hunter Valley, the operation produces about 7 million tons of thermal and semi-soft coking coal each year. Bulga has been in operation for more than 40 years, with open-cut mining starting in 1982 under BHP and underground mining added in 1992. The underground has since ceased, leaving only the open-cut operation, which today employs around 650 miners. The site commissioned a 90-20 dragline known as the Big Kahuna, which moved a total of 150 million bank cubic meters at Bulga coal mine in an operational career that lasted almost 25 years. The machine was the first of its kind and broke multiple production records, helping Bulga to become one of the most productive mining operations. By December 2023, more than 1,000 hectares of mined land had been successfully rehabilitated. Recently, Bulga received approval to continue mining until 2039, extending its original timeline by 4 years. And we're now in Queensland with another Glencore operation, Hale Creek Open Cut, a truck and shovel coal mine producing thermal and met coal for export. Under Glencore since 2018, Hale Creek mines the coal from 3 distinct seams ranging from 6.5 to 8.3 meters in thickness. Each year, the operation produces around 10 million tons of saleable product, all shipped to international markets. Operating 24/7, the Hale Creek mine employs around 1,100 workers and contractors. Its total resources are estimated at 1.5 billion tons, with 108 million tons identified as mineable reserves. Scheduled to close in 2040, Glencore has proposed extending Hale Creek's footprint by roughly 600 hectares, a 22% expansion of the approved area, adding new pits and redesigned haul roads. And about 130 kilometers from here, you'll find another coal mine, a name you may have heard of before, Daunia. The Daunia mine was officially opened on September 4, 2013 by BMA. Following Whitehaven's 2024 acquisition, the coal operation is now fully owned by the Australian coal miner. With an annual output right around 5 million tons, Daunia mainly produces hard coking coal for export to customers across Asia. The impressive operation sits on resources estimated at 110 million tons, according to last year's data. Running 24/7 with a workforce made of a little more than 700 people, Whitehaven's Daunia runs with a fleet made of 34 Caterpillar trucks, including 7 797 units, 3 600-ton excavators, and 1 electric rope shovel. Every haul truck on site runs autonomously, making it one of Australia's first fully autonomous coal operations and a leader in productivity. Daunia is projected to run until 2040. But before we go, let me show you a very important Australian mining operation, to me at least. I was just a teenager when I turned my bedroom into the Burton coal mine. Of course, I had no idea what I was doing, but it didn't matter. All of it was inspired by the few pictures I could find on the internet, back when there wasn't much out there. The big mine, the yellow Lee Bears, the Tees logos on the machines, the ambition of maybe one day becoming an operator there, but it never happened. For many, Burton was just another mine. For others, probably just a job. For me, it was the dream. Opened in 1995 and now owned by Bowen Coking Coal, Burton spans multiple operations like Ellensfield South and Plumtree North. One day the complex will close, but the memories and dreams will live on, carried through these videos. Thank you for watching.